Hello gang, welcome back. It is the 3rd of July, though, since most of you probably won't be seeing this on the 3rd, more likely the 4th or even the 5th, maybe even later. Happy 4th of July, though I'm planning another piece for the 4th. Going to the current day and time, though, it is the 3rd of July, and unfortunately we have lost, as of this morning, a TV and movie icon from many of our childhoods. Andy Griffith, after dealing with a couple of years of ailments and problems that have been plaguing him, died this morning and will be sorely missed. I know many of us grew up with reruns of the Andy Griffith Show. I know my mom loved Matlock. That was on all the time. But he also appeared over the years in a number of other TV and movie roles. Some of them just cameos, some of them decent spots as a primary character. His skill, his talent, his blessings to the industry, as I said, will be missed. Moving on to other news, though, Anderson Cooper is gay. Duh. I mean, apparently this was a matter of some major conjecture. A lot of people, debated it back and forth, but his private life he always kept very personal and private. He never put it out there, apparently, until recently when he just came out with, yes, that he is gay. He's happy being gay. He enjoys his life. And he's satisfied. He's happy with who he is and how he is in life. As I said, really? This didn't come as a surprise. I mean, the man always manages to dress really nicely. Doesn't matter if he's on a funky boat somewhere or in a tent city in a crisis-ridden, hazard zone or some civil war somewhere. The man's a news reporter. And you'd expect some level, but still at his age, mid-40s, the level of physique the man keeps himself to, as well as the color coordination and just making the really bright power ties work so well. I know a lot of straight guys like me just have a problem with basic color coordination, and that's why, like in my case, along with other reasons, join the Army. They issue a uniform, it's all color coordinated and matched, so you don't look like a retard when your socks don't match up. So, yes, Anderson Cooper has come out as being openly gay now. I always thought he had been, but that's me. Some of you, this will affect your opinion, which is kind of sad. I mean, if you liked his program, keep watching it. If you didn't, you're probably not watching it anyway already, and this has no impact on your life. So let's move on. Jumping across the Atlantic and over and swim across that little puddle known as the Mediterranean, let's arrive at Syria, where the Human Rights Watch has identified and certified 27 detention centers used for prisoner torture and torment of the Syrian people by the current ruling body and regime. Let's remember also, as we look at this, they've identified 27 such facilities spread across Syria. I should probably do it that way because they have spread from north to south. If you look at the maps you can get off the news feeds. And we're in the 16th month of this civil war, standoff, skirmish, whatever you want to call it, that they're having in Syria. It all started as part of the Spring Movement of Freedom, a number of other names they give it, where Egypt and Libya and other nations rose up and brought in new governments. Where President Assad has said, no, he's not backing down, and he's not. And after the treatment some of the other guys got when they did, I'm not really that surprised. Continuing on with the current note, though, Human Rights Watch, which is a watch group for, human rights and crimes against humanity, has identified 27 sites and has tried to push to once again get, actions taken against Syria by the UN. Russia and China continue to, veto and stand against any such, restrictions put against Syria. And the UN Human Rights Chief, Navi Pillay, hope I'm pronouncing that right, believes the whole issue should be referred to the International Criminal Courts in Hague to be determined whether or not, crimes against humanity have been committed. Syria is still raging on, getting worse, getting hotter. We'll see how it pans out. Jumping on back home, we'll get to a little bit of local news, a little bit of softer tone, where 74-year-old grandmother Sandra Laney, it has been determined, will stand trial for murder and firearm charges. Apparently, Miss Laney's 17-year-old grandson called 911, begging for help because his grandmother had shot him. Just so you know, he was living with his grandparents while his parents were going through a divorce. He had had run-ins with the police before for marijuana and drug paraphernalia, and he called 911 that his grandmother had shot him and he was dying. A few minutes later, he was back on the phone with 911 again, saying she had shot him again. Please help me, and basically begged for help for a couple of minutes before going quiet on the phone. When police arrived, Miss Laney came running out of the house screaming she had murdered her grandson. Entering the premises, the police found blood trails and splatters on wall and floor of the ground floor. In Miss Laney's bedroom, they found extra 9mm casings, extra ammo, a speed loader, and an extra magazine. On making their way to the second floor, though, they found 9 brass casings. Well, between the first and second floor, they found 9 brass casings, spent rounds, with 5 rounds having been put into the young man, 3 in the chest. He died on the scene. Miss Laney's defense attorney, however, entered a plea of not guilty, that she was defending herself, and claims that if you listen carefully to his 911 call, you can hear in the background where he's grappled hold of her, is holding her and won't let her go, and that she shot him in self-defense, while pleading with 911 to send help because she had shot him. The judge, however, determined that, yes, this would go to trial, and Miss Laney would be charged with, murder and firearms regulations violations. Well, gang, that's about all I've really got time for. Actually, I've spent more time than usual. So, to those of you showing up for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Thank you for coming and keeping us company on my channel. Take care of yourselves. Keep your heads down till I see you next time. Bye.